melanin is popping.
I'll tell you right now, I love my melanin.
There's actually 50 shades of melanin.
Legalize it. Yeah. Melanin.
Holly, talking about what Brooklyn needs. Holly melanated, Holly melanated, Holly melanated, Holly, talking about what Brooklyn needs to fresh and free college, affordable housing. Holly melanated, Holly melanated, Holly melanated, Holly melanated, Holly melanated. Holly melanated, running for Congress. He's running for Congress. He's running for Congress. He's here to talk about what he's running for Congress for. Cause Brooklyn needs us. Brooklyn needs him. Brooklyn.
400 years. 1619.
Holly.
2019.
Mela.
It's time.
Back in time. Holly melanated.
Melanized.
Holly melanated. Holly melanated. Holly melanated.
Wow.
Bow.
District 9.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Highly Melanated.
Highly melanated.
Highly
Highly
melanated. Highly
melanated.
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 Highly
melanated.
Highly melanated.
Highly melanated.
Highly melanated.
Hey. Just so you know, your melanation has just grown by 4.5689 bajillion drops of melanation, baby.
And that's accurate.
Oh God, PJ. Who is PJ today? PJ Vandross here.
Oh. Yushi Ross, baby.
Who is you, Nick?
No, I don't know. Red, berry, white.
Oh, the first and last. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm gonna be. I was gonna try to go old school, but all that's coming to me is modern, so
it's old school. It's old school.
I know. I can't.
Aretha,
though.
Gladys,
Blair Baker.
Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald.
I got it.
Sorry.
I'm gonna be Blair, Tina Turner rolling on the river.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Not even just a full first and last, just put a verb and everything. And we are joining the studio with.
I'm a little bit today. Well, who am I, or who does the world see me as?
I mean, whoever you
Answer your own question.
Okay.
This is your answer.
Tell us.
You tell us.
Okay, so I'll tell you. I am Isiah Ezekiel James. The world sees me and my blackness as a threat, but today I'm a little bit of Fred Hampton, a little bit of Huey P. Newton.
All right now.
Okay.
A little bit of,
Name drop now.
Come on, Stokely.
a little bit of Malcolm X.
All right now.
But yeah,
And he is running for.
I am running for Congress in New York's 9th Congressional District.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Come on now.
Shout out.
Congress.
Come on, we need more brothers in Congress. And
right.
and as always, guys, thank you for taking the time to come back to another episode of Highly Melanated, where we melanate your palate and feed your soul.
Num, num, num.
Num, 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 num. As always, you can follow us on every form of social media. Instagram would be Highly Melanated Podcast. Facebook would be Highly Melanated Podcast. Twitter, which would be H_melanated pod. You can also email us any questions, comments, and concerns at highlymelanatedpodcast@gmail.com. And you can go to our website at www.highlymelanatedpodcast.com.
We'd love to hear from you.
We would love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Jeeves!
It is I, Jeeves, and I've come to make sure that I welcome you into the Highly Melanated Manor, where we melanate your palate and feed your soul. Of course, I'm here to serve you, but I first want to make sure that you guys have your drinks and you get your toasts. So, before that, let me just tell you about the special today, which is hashtag Isiah James.
Isaiah for Congress.
Hashtag Isiah for Congress. So what, Mr. James?
No, Mr. Just
Sir.
Isaiah.
Sir, Isaiah.
There you go.
What would you like to drink with your toast? And then tell us if you have any shout-outs that you have for people out there.
What I would like to drink. Something my dad always drinks that was the first alcoholic drink I had when I came back from Iraq. Ray and Nephew and ice water.
Ray and Nephew and
Jamaican
ice
rum.
water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which one? The one from Jamaica
Yeah,
or
the one
from America?
From Jamaica. And
All
they
right
call
now.
it Jesus
Only
juice.
from the
That's
country.
the higher
Absolutely.
potency right now.
Man. So,
And ice water.
and ice water. Yeah, that's all they drink. They call it Jesus juice when they sitting around playing like Looney Board and dominoes.
Looney!
Looney board. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Looney board, yeah.
So
Super black today.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like
With
so.
the colors.
My shout out would be to. I was just talking to somebody in the hallway before we came into the studio, and it would be my mother. She was raised in Pascagoula, Mississippi, in the 50s. So deep racism in the deep South. So just sitting here reflecting on my past and where I come from, and the things that she had to go through. I just want to give her a shout out.
Okay.
Shout out, Mom.
Shout
Yeah.
out.
Shout out to Mama.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Can you repeat the town name and
Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Shout out to everybody from Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Mississippi,
All right,
Pascagoula.
now.
That sounds deep.
It is.
Deep in the South.
That's like the back of the back of the
Right there.
woods.
That is deep,
That is-
Mississippi.
Shout out to you.
That's
Yep.
not Mississippi. That's Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Now that we have wet our whistle, I know. Let's get a little appetizer on the table. And as you guys know, the appetizers are our melanated senses. Those are things that we see, taste, hear, touch, and smell throughout the week that are full of melanation. So, Isiah, do you have a melanated sense that you want to share with the listening audience?
I would say sight would be my melanated sense, because when I'm doing campaigning, walking around the district, just seeing the depth and the breadth of blackness, not just a certain one blackness, but blackness from all over the world, from all over the Caribbean,
Preach.
Africa. There's no. That's why I don't even like to use the term blackness, because it's kind of pigeonholing and categorizing, because blackness is so many things. So my sight would be my one sense.
All right now.
Nice.
Nice. All right.
I'm going to use that again.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Love it. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move into our main course, which we have prepared here because Mama been cooking in the kitchen. We got some of that crock pot roast beef, some of those buttered roasted carrots, and some crispy roasted potatoes. Lots of gravy now. Got a little bit of broccoli rabe with some garlic and olive oil. Don't worry, we got some of those butter biscuits on the side. And for those of y'all who prefer on corn, we got corn biscuits too. That's right, sure enough. And we're going to get right into it. So, Isiah for Congress.
Yes.
I like how that sounds. That's a Bible name, y'all. That's a good Bible name.
My full name is, all the boys in my family have biblical names. All the girls have Swahili names.
Okay.
So
I love it.
I'm one of 11, so I'll go them down.
I was going to say, you got to run it down now.
Please
so
do.
Okay.
My oldest sister, Cantina. My second oldest sister, Kamisha. My brother, Solomon. His name is Solomon David Michael James. And then
All right.
Isaiah Ezekiel James. And then my sister is named Africa Imani James. Mm-hmm. And then under her is my brother Elijah Samuel Michael James. Under him, my sister Ayata Ematula James.
Yeah.
Under Ayata, there's my brother Joel Najunjo Kiambu Ezekiel James.
All right now.
Under Joel, there's Kai Afi Ngozi Noni James.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
You better be able to run these down.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Under Kai, there is Empress Esmeralda, who's named after my grandmother, James. Under Empress, there's Emmanuel Michael Ezekiel James.
Yes.
And he's the baby.
That is beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
And on that note, I would like to kick off our conversation with reparations and what they look like for America and how you feel about that. And also, when it comes to reparations, who exactly, in your opinion, is entitled to reparations? Because we know that there are a lot of people, because reparations is supposed to be for the people of ancestry in America, who's people who went through slavery. But however, as you said, blackness embodies a whole slew of individuals. And then we also have those who are mixed race and all that combined. So let's get into reparations and what they look like for America.
Absolutely. That is the question that me and my team are actually working on right now. If you look at my website, we have a lot of policy. And the thing we're writing now is our reparations policy. Because we didn't just want to take it and give cash to black people, because white people they'd be up in arms as soon as you say, because that's all they think it is giving cash to these undeserved black people. Mm-hmm. So that's not what it is. What does it look like to me is a systematic investment in communities that have been traditionally disenfranchised from the ladders of upward mobility. Mm-hmm. So, and when you said that, a lot of people say that reparations is for, ADOS, African descendants of slaves, it's because even when we're talking about healing a wound, we still have that crabs in the barrel mentality, for lack of a better term, because we think the pie is only so big. So those people can't get any. Those other black people, the diaspora can't get anything because there might not be enough for the American diaspora. I don't believe that. The world is there are trillions and trillions of dollars in this world, and there's enough for everybody. But speaking on America, because I'm an American and taking care of Americans first, our reparations bill would include, a huge investment in HBCUs, because everybody knows that they've been systematically disinvested by the federal government for years, and they came about because the federal government did not want to have us in their classrooms. Another thing would be to look at redlining and the effects it has had on homeownership in black and brown communities. Another thing would be true criminal justice reform inside of that reparations bill. Mm-hmm. And that is expunging all of the records of black and brown youth who have been targeted by police for low-level drug offenses and now wear the scarlet letter of a conviction, which once you get that felony, you can't participate in civil society anymore. Mm-hmm. You can't get a school loan. You can't get a home loan. You can't apply for a job because a lot of people have to check the box, have you convicted of a felony?
Can't even vote.
You can't do. How can you exercise your right as a citizen if you can't even vote? Mm-hmm. So our reparations bill and my team right now, the thing we're putting together is pretty comprehensive, and it's taking so long because we're looking at all the systems that have been in place to keep black people in this country down, and how we don't just fix those wrongs but dismantle those systems as well.
So you definitely have a lot going on. You have a lot going on, and you're very knowledgeable about. No, you know what you're talking about. But I wanted to ask you just a little bit about just you in general. Okay. Like, it sounds like you've been involved in politics and in at least have a passion for it.
There you go.
A passion for politics and reform and change. So just tell us a little bit about just kind of why you're getting more involved in this specific aspect where you're running for an actual office and where that inspiration comes from, and then just what you hope to do once you are in that position.
I believe in just speaking things into existence.
Come on now.
So
that's why I said when you are in that position.
That's why I love it. Yeah. How I got involved in it because I'm a tenant organizer. First of all, let me tell you a little about myself. One of 11 kids, obviously. Parents are Jamaican, came to America looking for their piece of the American dream. We grew up poor. We were homeless at one point. I remember living in the back of a U-Haul truck in a Motel 6 parking lot. And we were so poor, my mom used to send us, all of us, there were 7 of us at the time. She would send all of us into McDonald's. And this is back when McDonald's had the free ketchup you could just grab. And we would all fill our pockets with ketchup. And that's what we would eat in the hotel room was she would make soup out of the ketchup. And we would eat that with toast bread for dinner. So we'd have to steal ketchup to make dinner. So I grew up super poor, and then there was no opportunities for me and people who looked like me, so I joined the military. Joined the military at 18 years old. I went to Iraq 2 times, Afghanistan once, shot, blown up. I have no hearing in my left ear, traumatic brain injury. I was in recovery in the hospital for 2 months, suicidal ideations, all that stuff. And that's one thing I would talk about is mental health in the black community, especially with young black men, because I'm 32 years old, and the stigma, it's a double stigma for us.
Wow.
So after that, I enrolled in Brooklyn College, met my wife. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary yesterday.
Congratulations.
Come on now.
Come through.
2-year anniversary yesterday. She's a teacher. I'm a housing organizer. I'm an activist as well, so part of my activism work, I met with the current congressional representative. I was telling her, get it short and sweet, like, yo, things are messed up. You can't keep taking this corporate money. Corporations are destroying our communities and our country. She told me she's not going to handicap herself by telling corporations not to give her money. Went home and told my wife. I was pissed. She said, well, big dummy, you run. Then that night I Googled how to run for Congress, and here we are.
I want to say thank
That's how it
you
goes.
for your service. No, seriously, thank you.
My whole family served. My dad is not a citizen. He served.
Thank your whole
Served in
family
Vietnam.
for your service.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
I really, and also want to commend your wife for it.
You met my wife.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's lovely.
A step, every strong man needs a strong woman
Shout out
behind
to
him.
black women out here making people do stuff.
My wife is Puerto Rican.
Okay,
Okay, she's not black. I'm out here making people do stuff.
Listen, I know.
What that mean?
Only thing that separates us is a stop on the boat. They're like, oh, they sold some of us to Puerto
and our
Rico.
conquerors, per
Exactly.
se.
Here we go.
Spain colonized you. The British colonized
Thank
you.
you.
Oh, we're different. No, we're all the same.
We're all the same. We're all
We're all
the
the
same.
All in the same boat.
We literally were.
No
all
pun.
We were all the
What
same
year
boat.
did your family come here from Jamaica?
My mom came to New York after '68, after Martin Luther King was assassinated. My dad came in 1970, right here to Flatbush.
All right.
Yeah.
So you've been a part of Brooklyn
Of course.
for a long time.
Of course.
And I'm imagining that's what gives you this sense of responsibility that you want to see Brooklyn thrive and prosper the way that it should.
It's not just being a part of Brooklyn. It's being a part of the collective that is us. Like, we're human beings. My buddies right now who are gone, who were killed in combat, they raised their hand to protect everybody. Some of them you'll never know. They're from West Virginia, from Miami, from Washington State. They didn't just say, hey, I'm serving to fight for people in my little area.
Right.
I'm serving for everybody.
For everybody.
So I always look at things from the 10,000-foot view is that a rising tide truly does lift all boats, but everybody needs a boat. If not, then literally some people are going to drown. So I try my hardest every day with my policies, my platform, what I do to try to advocate for everybody because an injustice to anyone is an injustice to everyone.
Just quickly, what branch and what did you do? What was your MOS?
I was in the United States Army, and I was an infantryman. So if you ever seen Saving Private Ryan, the guys that stormed the beach, I've been shot so many times.
Wow.
Been blown up. I've been hit with Chinese rockets, RPGs, mortars, RKG-3s. I've picked up children's body parts. I've seen people's skin burnt off. I don't want to get too graphic in it, but war is hell. I mean, they said it. War is hell. It's the worst of human behavior. It's. I want to be the last generation to have to do that, because me and my wife are thinking about having kids, and I'll be damned if my little son or daughter is going to have to go back over there and do stuff that my grandfather served in Korea, my father Vietnam, my uncle in Grenada, my cousin right now is in the Air Force, Afghanistan. I served 3 tours. we can't keep doing this. We've been fighting for 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
It's time for us to take those resources and invest them in communities like this that have been left to wither on the vine.
So, aside from, I guess, war being a very sobering thought to try and make your community locally better, what do you feel within the District 9, within New York, what do you feel is like our toughest rock? Because like Blair had mentioned before, do you have a lot on your plate? What do you think is our biggest thing that we're just all like, we got to fix that like now and fast?
Well, before actually you go into further detail, if you can just really quick, what part of Brooklyn is District 9?
Okay, so it's Brownsville, Crown Heights, Flatbush, East Flatbush, Kensington, Prospect Leopard Gardens, Prospect Park, Midwood, Sheepshead Bay. It's literally the only district in New York City that is solely contained in Brooklyn. Like all the other districts have part of Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn. This is all in Brooklyn.
The Congressional District.
Yes, from the Atlantic, from the Barclays Center, all the way to Sheepshead Bay.
Brownsville. Never ran, never will. Go ahead. All right, so go ahead back to
So the thing that, and that's the thing, I don't like to contain myself in this is the one thing that we need. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. Housing needs to be addressed ASAP. But if somebody is housing secure, but their health care is failing and they can't get treatment, that's the most important thing in the world to them. So we have to tackle that. If somebody has health care and housing and is dealing with suicidal ideations, that's the most important thing in the world to them. We have to tackle that. We can tackle all these things. Housing, health care, education, police violence, criminal justice reform, all of them. All of them affect us every single day. And like I said, I can't see one person drowning over here, and because they're not in my lane, leave them to the side. We can tackle all of them, because if I fix the criminal justice system and it helps a brother in Crown Heights, it helps you or me when we get stopped by the cops, or you when they follow you around the store. You see what I'm saying? So we can do it all at once, man. We literally put a man on the moon. We can solve these things.
The only reason why I asked that, I guess, because there's a lot of, I guess, the people that I'm around a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of concern around housing.
Yeah.
Where, in particular, people don't like the way that housing is set up because dealing with factors like AMI and like how that, can we talk like a little bit more about housing?
I can jump into that because, like I said, that's my specialty, I would say. But so, like you just brought up AMI. A lot of people don't know what AMI. It's area median income. So what they do is developers, when they build buildings, they're supposed to make a certain amount of the units in them affordable. So they take
unquote.
yeah. Right. So they take area median income, but they don't just take it from Crown Heights and Brownsville and Flatbush. They take upstate, they take Westchester, they take Staten Island. So now that the affordable 2-bedroom apartment that should be $1,100-1,200, now $2,700-2,800. So, and we have something on the books called the Faircloth Amendment, which says that HUD can't use funds to build additional public housing. No new public housing. That's why all these buildings are dilapidated and falling down, because we literally can't build more. So developers get those contracts to build them. But now the game is rigged with the AMI, so the housing would never be affordable. And then we need, in my platform, we're trying to put forth a community land trust program, which says that the little old lady in Brownsville, she sells her house. That house on the market has to stay affordable for the next tenants who buy it. So a developer can't come in. That's why you see like an old house, a giant new condo right in between, and then an old house, because a developer came in and bought up that plot of land, and now they're trying to squeeze all the tenants out. Another thing that my platform calls for is veterans, we get a guaranteed VA home loan, which is like little to no money, no interest. My team and I are talking about starting one of those at the federal level for people making less than $50,000 a year. So no bank gives you the loan. You're getting the loan from Uncle Sam, little to no interest. Nobody's going to come and take your house if you default on the loan. We'll work with you to get people out of rentership into home ownership, because anybody knows that's the biggest avenue for generating generational wealth is owning property. Another thing we are doing is universal rent control for all people like us who are our age who might not own a home for the next 10, 15 years, but still need to be protected under tenant law. So we need universal rent control in this country. There's so many things we need to do. Those are just 5 or 6 things in my housing platform.
That's awesome.
5 or 6, 5 or 6 little things.
I want to let everybody in
to the housing issue.
Yes, I want to let everybody in the audience know. I didn't know how hard podcasters works. It is hot in this little room.
It really is.
No, my goodness.
It really is. Because we need to be in here. We got to have it quiet.
There
so
are
the
5
doors closed.
melanated people in this room.
Yes. We is highly melanated.
Melanated.
I'm 6'8", 300 pounds, bro. It is roasting in here. I'll survive, but
Don't worry. We'll
take care.
We'll cool it down in here as soon as we can.
it's all good. It's all
We'll
good.
try. Would you like some water, sir?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
One thing that
No, please. Sorry.
one thing that I would love to hear about from you is, you mentioned earlier that part of the reason why you're running for this position is because you had a conversation with the woman who currently holds the position.
Congresswoman Yvette Diane Clark.
Okay, call her out. And you said the conversation with her was, you can't keep taking all this corporate money because it's destroying the community. All these corporations coming in, it's destroying everything. And you feel very strongly about that. We can see that.
Yes.
So what is your alternate plan? Like, what would you do differently?
First of all, don't take that money. Have integrity, okay? When I was a young pup coming up in the Army, integrity was explained to me as the hard right over the easy wrong. Mm-hmm. It's really easy to take that money because those checks come flying at you. But you have to have integrity to say, you know what? If I take that money, these people are buying access to me. They are not giving me money because they like me, because they like my smile. They want something in return. So we're giving, by her taking that money, and not just her, I'm calling out everybody. Hakeem Jeffries, Nydia Velasquez, shots fired.
Okay.
All of them.
Tekashi.
All of them.
They shoot in.
That is not the same. We do not stand.
No, that's not.
No.
That's not the same.
No.
No, listen, bro. All of them take that money. So ask yourself, you're like, damn, why hasn't stuff gotten better? We got people that look like us in these positions. Why is stuff not getting better? Why is the community being sold out? Why haven't we been able to take a step forward? It's because the corporations that donate to these people in our interests are diametrically opposed. Mm-hmm. If corporations gave a damn, they would be nonprofits. They're not. They're corporations. Their thing is to make money for their shareholders, the bottom line. So by giving them access to the table, and especially in this seat, the 9th Congressional District is Shirley Chisholm's seat. Her motto was unbought and unbossed. Now,
That's right.
I don't know if Congresswoman Clark is bossed. She is bought and paid for. And I got the receipts. Go look at her FEC filings. Everybody knows this. Everybody.
So just for my personal clarification, you're saying that, they're taking these checks. Okay. They're taking this money for their own personal use, and it's not money that's being used to go towards the community.
No, I mean, they take these campaign donations. So think of it, I'll put it in the terms that people can understand. When you walk in a store and you hand money to the salesperson, you not just you want something in return. No matter what it is, you are expecting to get a good or service. So in Amazon, the letter that she signed, Hakeem Jeffries, all of them, Jamani Williams, all of them signed that letter to get Amazon to move into to Long Island City. We know what Amazon does. They're like locusts. They move through, they move out, they kick out all the poor people and the working class people. They build these luxury condos, bring in all the gentrifiers, and now that neighborhood is no longer affordable. So when all of them take that money, they are saying that they are giving access to these people. Yvette Clark lives in one of the poorest, this is one of the poorest districts, congressional districts in America. 93% of her donations are big PAC donations. She raised over $1.5 million. Where's she getting that from? It ain't coming from Crown Heights. It ain't coming from Flatbush, East Flatbush. It ain't coming from this district. Why is it that North Dakota Gas is giving her money? Why is it that Big Florida Sugar is giving her money? It's because she sits on the Energy and Commerce Committee, which regulates those industries. So they're buying the access. And in doing so, they are hurting our community. And I'll tell you how. We have some of the highest asthma levels in this district in New York City. Why is that? because the paint manufacturers and all the chemical manufacturers are able to come in here and dump these products, and nobody's regulating them because they've already bought the access. The system is rigged, and we need to unrig it by kicking out all those corporate politicians. Listen, all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
All right,
and a
now.
lot of them use their blackness to try to hide the fact that they're doing us dirty. Like, oh, I look like you. You know I'm on your side. Damn lie. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Well, I'll put it in a way the biblical people understand. Can fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? They cannot. So you have to make a choice. Are you for the powerful or are you for the people? I am for the people 100%. They are not.
Let me get out my notebook because some of these one-liners are just like,
Okay, I'm telling you. So we had a chance to look at your website. Can you please tell our listening audience what that website is?
IsiahForCongress.com. ISIAH for Congress.com.
Yeah, all the information will actually be in the description.
I'll give you a funny story about, if you go to my website, there's a picture of me in a hoodie on the website. Mm-hmm. So when I first started running, I had a fundraiser guy. He was a white guy. He was very vehemently opposed to me putting the picture of me in a hoodie up on my website. He told me, you look like you're wearing the Trayvon Martin Halloween costume. I'm not joking.
I'm sorry.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Halloween. Yeah, I swear.
First of all,
Yo, I'm telling you. I'm not saying the name. He said, you look like you're wearing the Trayvon Martin Halloween costume.
First of all, the fact that he said the Trayvon Martin Halloween costume and not a Trayvon Martin Halloween costume.
My brain disgusted him.
Then he said that you look like you're going to mug me and the donors will never donate to you if that picture in the hoodie is on your website.
Let me tell you what we feel about you.
So one of my team told me straight up, he's like, listen, if you're not taking money from corporations, you can't be working with somebody like that. I was like, yep, gotta go.
You know, question for you, being that we just mentioned the name of Trayvon Martin, and a lot of that was surrounding gun control and gun reform, and there's a lot happening in America with that. What is your campaign's stance on gun control and reform in America?
Listen, and I take this personally because I've seen what these weapons can do. This is not, I'm not speaking extemporaneous about this stuff. I've held these weapons. I've shot them at other human beings. They've shot them at me. These things were designed to kill as many people as efficiently and quickly as possible. There is absolutely no reason, unequivocally, that any American should be able to get their hands on these things at all. I am for a full assault weapons ban with no sunset clause. It doesn't run out in 10 years, 20 years. Think about it. Japan had like 5 or 6 gun deaths last year. We had 30,000 gun deaths last year. We're not the only country with crazy people. They're everywhere. We're not the only country with people with depression. They're everywhere. We're not the only country with violent video games. They're everywhere. We're not the only country with black, white, brown people. They're everywhere. So what is the one thing that makes us different than other countries? It is our unfettered access to guns. And until we deal with that cancer, until we excise that tumor, we're never going to heal the body.
Thank you for calling it what it is, too. Thank you.
And not only that, we need to look at police shootings as gun violence.
Yes, sir.
Because a lot of people just think it's police violence. That is a form of gun violence that does not get studied, that does not get tracked. There's groups out there that do the stuff, but we need a federal task force to look at this stuff. Because as a black man, you are 3 times more likely to be shot by a cop than a white man. And we make up 14% of the population.
And unfortunately, these are facts.
These are facts. I mean, you can Google this.
You know, I'm glad that you brought that up, Yushi, and I'm glad that you answered because I think a lot of people are out of touch with reality and don't realize how often things go down and things happen. Like you had mentioned, like the whole statistics between Japan versus us.
Yeah.
Download the Citizen app and just keep that on just for a little bit.
Yes.
I met the brother who made that.
I am okay. Well, I don't know whether to thank him or just be like.
It was me, him, and a mutual friend of ours. We were literally in the apartment having a conversation about capitalism versus socialism versus black. Like literally for like 2 hours, like 12 o'clock at night. And yeah, I met the dude who made that.
Well, I thank him, but it's also a little disturbing because, I mean, it just goes off constantly.
Yeah.
And not everything is in regards to gun violence, but I think I would be under-exaggerating if I had said, like, the thing goes off at least 5 times a week with, something pertaining to a shooting or a gun or something. So thank you for bringing that up.
Listen, there's a video of me being slapped by the police on YouTube.
My God.
Got like 1 million views. What? Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. Who's slapping you?
Guys,
I don't know if y'all caught that before. This man is
6'8",
300 pounds.
Listen,
I can't even get my phone fast enough.
Google disabled veteran assaulted by cop. I Google it right now. It was all over USA Today and everything. What happened was my father doesn't drive. He's an older man. So my father lived down in Florida now. His apartment complex got bought up by developers. So I had to go down there and get him a place and all that stuff. I used my school money that the VA gave me to get him a place. So I was driving him to the grocery store on Sunday, and I'm a disabled soldier. I got screws holding my leg together, handicap placard, all that stuff.
Oh, my God.
I pull into the parking space. I go in the store with my dad. The cop comes in behind me, tell me to move my car. I'm not allowed to park there. I'm like, yo, the placard is hanging in my car. Here's my VA ID. Here's my driver's license ID. Here's my retired military ID. Cop took it. He didn't like it. Told me I was wrong. We got back and forth. No.
Whoa.
We got back, and it was a black police. It was a black police officer.
Make it even worse.
We got back and forth with it. He told me I didn't look disabled. I told him he was fat. He didn't look like a police officer.
Wait a minute.
No,
Who said that?
My exact words were, "You don't look like a police officer with your gut hanging over your belt." And he didn't like that, so he turned around and just smacked me right in front of my dad. And I was like, "Yo," I was like, "Bro, nobody puts their hands on me." I'm like, and I had just got out of the army. I had just got back from Afghanistan. I was like, "Dude,
you are my new best friend."
No, my thing, and in my mind, I was like, if he goes for his gun, I'm gonna have to do something to him because I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. So I'm not gonna let him reach for that gun. And I was like, it would have turned into something, y'all. It would have been a whole different thing. But I didn't get arrested. I sued the city, X, Y, and Z. He was fired. He was arrested. And the DA told me straight up, if I wasn't a disabled veteran, they wouldn't even have done anything.
No, they wouldn't have.
Wow.
That's what he said. Or she said.
So, all right. So I want to. Okay. So as earlier you were saying, looking at your website, number one, you have a whole lot going on, and I wanted to go through some of the tabs that you have on here.
Absolutely.
And of course, for me personally, the one that jumps out to me the most is the LGBTQIA plus equality.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that as far as the legislation that you're trying to pass, the HR .2282, the Equality Act.
Yes. So for every issue on my website, I have a personal connection to it. My little sister is lesbian, and when I hear people say that she doesn't deserve the same rights that me as a heteronormative man deserves, I'll be damned. When people tell her or people say about her that she's somehow wrong for loving who she loves or being just living her truth as who she is, I can't stand for that. So that's why it's a big issue for me, because I try to tie everything to something personal to me. So I think that when the Civil Rights Act was passed, we left out protections for LGBTQ people. Because think about if you're a black trans woman, oh damn. I mean, you are you are not, you're not, but society thinks you are the lowest of the low. You are discriminated against on your orientation, your sexuality, your skin color, your gender, everything. So for me, tackling LGBTQ rights, one, is personal, and two, it's I don't even want to call them right. It's equality. They're not rights. We're not trying to give you something that we don't have.
A basic human right.
Thank you. It's literally, so that's what privilege is. It's when equality looks like wrongness to them. So saying that you are allowed to be who you are, love who you are, be free, live your life, live your best version of yourself. To some people, that is an affront to this nation. That is anathema to what we're supposed to stand for. I don't believe that. If some of these people need to wake up. Gay people and lesbians have been here for a very, very long time.
We have built this country.
If you don't listen, I tell you right now, some of the and let's bring this back to the black community too. We need to check ourselves, and I don't think it's so much of the younger generation, but there is an older part of the generation, and that does not rock with people in LGBTQ community, and we need to take a serious look at ourselves. How can we ask for equality from our nation when we're not even giving equality to those who are in our own communities?
Mm-hmm.
And this is
families.
Families. What? First of all, I don't know any black church that could have survived without a gay choir director.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You get a bunch of butch dudes like me in there singing, "This little light of mine."
You're not lying.
It ain't going to work, boss. Exactly. It ain't going to work. Okay, so, and for the younger generation, all y'all like Beyonce and her dance move and the choreographers and her hair and her makeup. Who do you think do all that stuff? So we need to take a serious look at ourselves as a people and as a community. And if we want equality from America, we must be willing to give it within our own community.
Okay. All right. I also wanted to just a few more. I wanted to bring up
Let's go.
Conversation about workers' rights.
Yes.
Okay. As far as minimum wage is what I wanted to say.
No, that's
but that's what it really is, really,
Listen,
right?
minimum wage. Oh, I'm gonna tweet about that tonight.
New tweet liners now.
New tweet
Okay, he was out here dropping one liner.
That's
Okay.
That's the minimum rate. I like that.
Follow me on Twitter at PhilNominal 007.
I'm gonna tweet about that.
But yeah, so when it comes to actually fixing the small infrastructure, when it comes down to just workers' rights itself,
Yeah.
and how do you feel or how do you plan on affecting change within that?
Well, first of all, the minimum wage, had it kept up with inflation, it would be around $23, $24 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So $15 an hour. Let's do some basic math for the
I'm
folks.
underpaid.
Yeah, so $15 an hour, right? That's $600 a week before taxes.
Okay.
After you pay city, state, and federal taxes, that's $600. Is now we'll do easy math. We'll call it $500. So you're taking home $2,000 at the end of the month, right? $24,000 a year. If you can find a $1,000 apartment in New York, 12 of that is already gone.
And that's without insurance and 401k.
Exactly. If you can find a $1,000 apartment, you living off 12 a year.
That is a high if.
That's a never.
That's a never.
That's a never.
That is
That's a never. Not even in Jersey.
So you're living off 12 a year. Now, if you throw a kid in the mix, if you don't have a car, you take public transportation.
Mm-hmm.
If you got to pay for food, school, health insurance, listen, you cannot survive. Literally, you cannot survive. So one, we need to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour across the country as a basic floor, not a ceiling. And we need to tie that to inflation. So it goes up every year with the cost of living. So we're not having the same fight in 15 years from now. That's number one. Number two, workers need the right to collectively bargain around the country. And not just the country, well, I'll get to it, but in Puerto Rico and U.S. and American Samoa and U.S. Virgin Islands and all these colonialistic, limbalistic places that we have, which need to be free, by the way. Those workers need to be able to organize. They need protections under the law because right now, the minimum wage, like Chris Rock said, employers are saying, if I could pay you less than this, I would. The only thing stopping me is the federal government. And we have all the evidence. Look to Europe. They raised their minimum wage. Their standard of living is higher than ours. They pay more in taxes. They have free education. They have free health care. The government will not let you go hungry, homeless, any of those things. Listen, I, for one, will pay $1,000 more a year in taxes to get rid of all my student loans because I have hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans. So does my wife. So workers in this country have been under assault. The Republicans have attacked them, and it's not just the Republicans. It's the corporate Democrats, too, because remember I said corporations and people's interests are diametrically opposed. So when Amazon, who doesn't want to have their workers have the right to unionize, guess who takes the most money from Amazon of any person in the New York City congressional delegation? Yvette Clarke. When Amazon sells the technology to ICE that comes in our communities and raids our communities, guess who takes the most money from Amazon? Yvette Clarke. When Amazon comes in and listen, Bob Marley said, who the cap fit, let him wear it. This is the truth. If you don't like it, don't do it. She is her, and this is not just her. It is the rest. It is all of them. Mm-hmm. Everybody who's listening, go to opensecrets.org, type in your congressional representative, and look who their money comes from. Bank of America, BlackRock, the biggest financials, the biggest insurance, the biggest real estate. Now ask yourself, when has those entities ever done anything good to help workers in this country? The answer is very easy. It is never.
Never.
So why are people who are supposed to represent our interests quoting those people and not the hardworking people who voted to put them there?
You know, while you're on that topic, you mentioned student loan debt.
Oh, yes.
I noticed on your website you talk about tuition-free college. That's something that's speaking my language. I, too, have a student loan that I'm still paying back. Talk to us about it.
Barack Obama didn't finish paying off his student loans until he was in the White House. Think of that. And like his second term, him and Michelle finished paying them off. The goddamn president of the United States was paying student loans while he was running the free world. That's how bad they are. So let's break this down. One, there's something that most people don't know about. It's called SLABs, Student Loan Asset-Backed Securities. Our debt is traded as a commodity. So that's why Republicans are all in the consternation about not getting rid of student loan debt, because it's $1.6 trillion. It is an asset to these people on Wall Street. That loan you're paying, you're not paying Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam sold that loan years ago. You're paying some company back right now. And they'll be damned if they're going to let you wipe it away. That's number one. Number two, our military budget was $790 billion this year. The total amount of tuition for all free public, for all colleges and universities in 2018 was $70 billion. With a 10% reduction in defense spending, that will cover literally free college for everybody who wants to go. Why haven't we done that? Because I'm going to let y'all in on a secret. If you think the healthcare industry is a big business, it is absolutely nothing compared to the defense industry. The defense industry is the big, unseen hand that is running this country. In the next 5 to 10 years, if things keep going the way they're going, we'll be up to $1 trillion in defense spending. We are literally shooting our money out of the end of a barrel that we could use to wipe away student debt and give people free college in this country. So the cure for cancer might be stuck in some kid's hair right now in Brownsville or Flatbush, but it'll never get out because they can't afford to. They can't even see themselves at one of these public universities that cost $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, let alone Columbia or Harvard or Yale where it's $200,000, $300,000. I didn't even go to the graduate school I wanted to go to because of the cost. I got accepted into the new school with 2 scholarships. For my master's, it was still $70,000. I said, nope. I got accepted into Fordham. Nope. It was too expensive. I got accepted in St. John's. Too expensive. I took my black ass to Baruch. So I went to Baruch for my master's and Brooklyn College for my undergrad because we've turned education in this country into a commodity. We've done it with housing. We've done it with healthcare. And it's wrong to commodify things that people need to survive. Because when you commodify something, you're automatically saying a certain population will not be able to participate in it. Because a Ferrari is a commodity. I'll never be able to participate in it. And that's okay. But when it's something as essential as education or health care, that is absolutely wrong. So we need to decommodify that stuff and we need to make it free. We can start by cutting our bloated-ass military budget.
Okay. We're all
Out here with the facts.
Okay. I think everybody who's listening, especially if you are a resident of New York, resident of Brooklyn, and listen to this episode more than once, share this with everybody because he's dropping some gems right here.
Oh, yes.
All right. So for just us New Yorkers right now, this question is just solely for us in general. On your website, Isiah for Congress, ISIAHFORCONGRESS.com. You mentioned there's a tab in there about the rebuilding the infrastructure as far as like the MTA. Yeah.
Oh, here we
We need
go.
that Japanese.
Here we go.
Okay.
Listen.
Let's go.
And this is the thing that baffles my mind. In my time in the military, I've lived in Germany. I lived in Germany for 2 years. Germany has a population of 80 million. New York City has a population of 8.5 million. Germany is a mass transit country. We are a mass transit city. If they can get it right, if England can get it right, if France and all these other countries in Europe can get it right, why the hell can't New York City get it right? Let me tell you why. Because we've already sold it. Companies run the MTA, not the people. So before we get into that, let's delve into this. Why the hell are we even paying to ride the subway and the bus? It's a public utility. I can walk into any library for free.
All right,
I can walk into any park for free. I can walk on any beach for free because my taxes already paid for that. Why am I paying double to pay for something that it's already paid city, state, and federal taxes? Why am I now paying to use this?
If it's for free, it's for me.
I need a reimbursement.
So that's one thing. So this is a failure of leadership at every level. This is Governor Cuomo. This is Bill de Blasio. They have failed us. Our system is dilapidated. It is falling apart. We need a massive infrastructure bill in this country, $4 trillion of infrastructure. And in doing so, we can create those green new jobs that we're talking about. It's in my platform on the jobs guarantee. And in doing so, making college free, we can train a new generation of children to take over those jobs when they get there. It's all comprehensive. It all ties together. Free college to train you for the green new jobs of building the infrastructure. And New York City alone needs hundreds of millions of dollars of influx. So that infrastructure bill, damn better believe when I'm in Congress, a lot of that money is coming back here. And not only that, the MTA needs to be run at the city level. Why the hell is it being run by Cuomo when he's all the way up in Albany? Does he even use the MTA? Has he ever taken the train?
No, he has. They all have drivers that come out of our tax dollars.
So why is it being managed up there, but it's down here? That's number one. And number two, why is there not a high speed train running from Grand Central to Albany? Why is the rest of the state cut off from us? I've been to upstate New York. It is a completely different world up there. It is completely different. You would not even think that you're still in New York City. I say that because I know a lot of dudes around here who've never been up to Buffalo or Westchester or Syracuse.
Oneonta.
Yeah, exactly. So our transit is falling apart, man. And if we can find $3 billion to give Amazon to move here, we damn sure can have, even before we get to the federal level, we should be doing this stuff now. But the thing is, how come nobody's speaking about it? How come it takes me on your podcast to bring this up? We have a sitting member of Congress who's been there 12 years. When's the last time she held a rally in front of City Hall talking about MTA? When's the last time she took a contingent and marched up to the damn governor's mansion like, yo, you got to fix this because people in my district are hurting? When is the last time she did that? I'll answer it. It was never. Because out of sight, out of mind, she does not care. She either does not care or she does not understand the dynamics on the ground. Either way, it is time for you to go. Because those are the only two options we have in the universe in which we occupy.
So, so to get away from, she may deserve all of this. But I want to focus more on you and what it is that you're going to do and what it is that we want from you because we expect it from you. Because you know what, listening to you, you are passionate about this, and this means a lot to us, especially as us as New Yorkers, us as Americans, us as Black Americans, seeing ourselves represented. And just add extra syllables in there. Shout out to Cynthia Norris. We had her come on here from New York City Communities for Change, and it was we had a great conversation, and a lot of it was in reference to how do we get people involved in these types of, how do we get the mobility, how do we get people involved, and starting even like not even just campaigning, because there's a lot of people always who thinks that once you're campaigning, all you're doing is just trying to get people's money, trying to get people to come in and support you and this and that, whatever, and then once you get in office, then poof, where did they go? I already can feel that. I mean, I can't, I'm not going to sit here and say certainly, but from what I know of you and your energy and everything, we had conversations about this, but I don't see you disappearing.
That's that integrity.
Shout out to episode 21 and Integrity and Me.
That's what that integrity I was talking about. Because the world I come from, if I'm on the mountaintop in Afghanistan, it's my turn to get sleep. The person next to me who's pulling guard, I literally have to put my life in their hands. Mm-hmm. I have to trust that they're going to do what they say they're going to do, or I could die, and vice versa. So integrity for me is literally life and death. And when I get to Congress, it's the same thing, because people are dying right now. There are people rationing insulin in our communities because they cannot afford it. There are people who are taking their own lives because they are at their breaking point. So this is not a joke to me. This is life and death. And the fact that Nobody's talking about this. That's the wrong answer. But what you said, getting people involved, we must also, even in this room, as people who have been discriminated against, we must also realize our privilege. We have the privilege to have a job that allows us to take the time off to go vote. The single mother in Brownsville, working 2 jobs, got to pick her kid up trying to make rent, don't have that luxury. So we have to alleviate the burden off of those people's backs so they can be able to get civically involved. Because I tell you right now, there's some people, they don't vote because they're like, bro, I ain't got no time for that. I can't take the day off work. I got to get somebody to watch my kid, child care, which is 1/6 of people's income. That's what we have to do. We have to take the burden off of those people's back and help them to get them more civically involved. We need more civics classes in our communities, in our neighborhoods, not just geared towards older homeowners, but geared towards young people. The dude on the block standing there with the new J's, we need to go talk to him. Why hasn't anybody engaged him? Yo, come here, young brother. I'm not old, I'm 32. But come here, yo, let me tell you how politics matters to you. It runs every aspect of your life. When you got up this morning, you drank that water out of the faucet, somebody put fluoride in that. That was a political decision.
That's right.
Those shoes you got from China, those Jordans, those were imported. That was a political decision. Everything you eat, everything you wear, the street you cross, the speed limit was set by somebody in government. That is a political decision. There is nothing in this country that you do that is not affected by politics, even your religion. It's in the First Amendment. Congress shall establish no religion. It was a political decision. Everything in this life, politics involves. So if somebody's making that decision, you damn sure need a seat at the table. So come here and let me show you how this works.
So for everybody who's listening, I'm sure that y'all are probably just as riled up and passionate as we are in this
I mean, because we had no idea.
I'm sweating because I'm all animated in here.
And that's the thing,
love
though,
it.
because so much
I
of
love
what
it.
you're saying makes perfect sense, and sometimes it just takes somebody who is so passionate to just break it down to people to the basic level that they can relate to and understand. So for everybody who is listening right now, what is the best thing that we in this room and everybody who's listening, what's the best thing that we can do to help you in your campaign right now so that way you can get these changes made?
And
I mean, obviously, vote.
Yes.
Vote. Please vote.
Vote.
But what else can individuals do besides vote? Like you said, there are some people who can't go and vote. What would you say to those people? What can they do to help push the envelope forward?
Well, you can go to our website, Isiah for Congress, sign up for an email. We host rallies all the time. We host town halls. Come out, get involved, get engaged, learn the tools to take back to your community to fight and fight for effective change. To those who can donate, $5-10, literally, like my average donation is $24. I remember when somebody gave me a $500 donation, bro, I was through the roof. I was like, yo, somebody gave me $500. They donated to the campaign. Because we don't take big PAC corporations. We literally get $3 donations, $2 donations, and that's okay. Because if somebody invests $3 in my campaign, because obviously if they invest $3, they don't got that much to give. And if they see the passion, if they see the fire, if they're like, yo, I'm going to give this dude my last $3, they believe in me. And you have no idea how motivating that is for me. So if you can donate, do it. If you can go to the Twitter or the Facebook or the Instagram and share something, help amplify the message, do it. You can sign up to come meet me. Bro, you can literally send me an email and grab a cup of coffee with me. I'm like dead ass. Like you can, I'll
Dead ass, y'all.
Dead ass. New Yorker right
But I'm
there.
saying like
On our faces.
you can,
Dead ass?
Dead
but you
ass.
can come literally like grab a cup of coffee. I'll meet you because just because you're not a big donor or something like that doesn't mean that you're not important. That your voice needs to be heard. And too often, people in positions like mine who are running for office, they talk to people, but they don't talk with people. I talk with people, hear their concerns, take their input on how we can all fight this together. Because I can't do this by myself. You say the website looks dope, I got a team. You say the policy is sharp, there's a team. You know, when I come home frustrated, my wife, me and her, we're a team. Nobody can do this together. We're all a collective. This country was built on slavery, but the document, the document is a collectivist document. What are the first 3 words? It's we the people. It's not us. It's not us, the several states. It's not me, the individual. It's we the people. We are a collective, and once we realize that, that is where the power lies. Because if the 99% stands up, then the 1% doesn't matter.
And so I also want to just give this moment to also give a quick shout out to the young man David Ledbetter, who was the one who was 17 years old, who was walking around to when people were online for Popeyes and asking them if they were registered to vote. Yeah. So this is that young man also has the idea of what it is like to get your community involved. Yes. If you, any of you guys who are listening to this and you feel moved and you feel passionate about it and you hear what this brother is saying, I can guarantee, just again, from the conversations that we've had, from what you guys are listening, this isn't just a pitch, an elevated pitch from what this is passion. This is, because you're from Brownsville. So, it's not often that we actually get somebody, who's really from New York like that,
I'm black. And I grew up, listen, I'm thinking.
He said black. No, he's blackity.
No, listen, first of all, my parents are Rastafarians. So.
Rastafari.
Yeah, so I had dreads. I had dreads up until I was 18. All my brothers and sisters had dreads. I got my first haircut when I was 18. I remember the kids picking at me because I took curry goat to school, because I took oxtails to school.
They had no idea. They had no idea.
Yeah, look at them now.
Exactly.
So I grew up knowing a history of myself, and that's thank credit. I grew up with my father, and my father was he was running wild. Like, my father got arrested. He got caught trafficking 10 pounds of weed, and this is back in the 70s. No, not 10 pounds. He got caught taking weed from Jersey to Florida, and they only gave him probation. But this is way back in the 70s. They wouldn't do that now. Him and his buddy Jati, they used to run Flatbush. A lot of his friends got deported. So he was a bad dude. He said the thing that made him calm down was his first 2 sons, my brother Solomon and me. When we were born, he told me the story. He's like, listen, I couldn't end up dead and I couldn't end up kicked out of the country because I had you 2 boys to look after. So my whole life, because my father, after he got out of the Army and was done being a young gangster, he became a roofer. He was a union guy, putting roofs on buildings, building water towers and stuff. And I used to see him get up at 4:30, 5 in the morning, hop on his bike, and ride literally 5-10 miles, come home with fiberglass all in his hands, itching, scratching, covered in dust and paint, and he bust his ass. And all 11 of his children now, my baby brother's 19 and he's in college, business owners, PhDs, lawyers, soldiers, all of us. And that was my example. So it would be damn selfish of me not to take what I was taught and what I learned from one of the greatest men I ever known and not share that with my community.
On this subject, immigration reform.
Yeah.
I really wanted to pique your opinion about this, and I really wanted to know, speak to us about immigration reform and where your campaign stands with that.
Well, first of all, the people who are here, they don't need a pathway to citizenship. They need citizenship. The whole pathway to, they have a pathway right now. You saw they walked up from South America to claim asylum.
That's right.
We can always cut a pathway off. Donald Trump did it. And not only that, like I said, my father's still not a citizen. It takes 10, 20, 50, 20, 30 years at some point. These people are living here right now. We're living on stolen land. So what the audacity that people in power, who mostly are white men, are telling people fleeing persecution that they can't come here, and we're living, on land that was stolen from 100 million natives that lived here when we got here. The audacity of that just blows my mind. But the people who are here need citizenship right now. We need to also look at this temporary protected status for people from Haiti and from the other islands who were affected by the hurricane. This needs to be permanent status. We need a 21st century Marshall Plan that invests in the Caribbean, that invests in Central and South America, so people don't have to come here. People only come here because there is no economic opportunity, because America dabbled in their countries and overthrew their governments and did all that stuff in the 40s and 50s and 60s and ruined their country. So now they're fleeing here. So
we just need a full new overhaul system of the entire political system,
listen,
the entire judicial system.
Mother
executive position, everything.
Any mother who would walk 2,000 miles with her child on her back to get here is the type of person I want here. Because if you work that hard to get here, so you telling me she's doing all that for welfare? She walked through 7 countries to get here.
Thank you.
She's coming here for a better life. And I challenge any person, black, white, brown, or whatever, if your child was about to be raped or murdered or killed, and the only thing stopping you was a river, the Rio Grande, you would swim that sumbitch like Michael Phelps.
That's right. Sure
would.
Right now. If the only thing stopping you was a border that was drawn on a map by somebody who stole the land, you would cross that border in a heartbeat.
That's right.
Because I would do anything to protect my brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews. And if that's what I had to do, I would do it. So I don't castigate those people for doing that. I see that they're in pain. I want to help those people. But we also need to look at the causes that are causing them to come up here. So like I said, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. The people need to come out of shadows, be made full citizens. They already contribute to our economy, our military, our taxes. So
everything.
But they get no benefits. So bring them on out, bring them on in. Listen, if a woman with no language, doesn't speak the language in this country, no education, if she can come and take your job, you need to worry about yourself as an American. What have you been doing? If she can walk all
Say it again.
If she can
Say
walk,
it again.
If she can walk,
here like,
if a woman from Central America with no education, no support system, doesn't speak the language, can walk up here and just beat you out of your job, what have you been doing with the opportunities you have as an American?
Nothing.
You need to think about yourself and what you seem to be doing incorrectly.
My wife's a teacher. Ain't nobody gonna take her job. I'm a tenant organizer. They ain't gonna take my job. They ain't gonna come up here and start El Podcasto, so they're not gonna take your job. so what?
This Negro said El Picasso.
I'm done.
That's it, guys. Thank you for coming for another episode.
I'm done. Oh,
This
sweet
was amazing.
Lord Jesus. Oh my goodness, so
Yes, I'm running
so
for Congress.
much. Yes,
Wonderful.
you are. You are. And
My
you're ready
nigga.
too.
I'm a real
So many
dude, bro.
just
Like,
bombs
I'm not all
drops
polished.
and mic drops all over the place. Lord Jesus. So to wrap things up,
drop.
I don't even know how we go about doing
Thank y'all
that.
for having me in this
No,
hot
thank
studio.
you for being here.
Oh, we got one more. We got one more part, really quick.
We got
Okay.
one last part for you. It's time for dessert.
Okay.
You can't leave the table without having dessert now. And I'm gonna just open it up to you. I'm not gonna put any specifications on it. Just what would you like to have for dessert? What is your go-to dessert? And then along with that, just give us your final thought or the one thing that you want the listening audience to take away from everything that you said today. What is it that you want to leave with them?
Okay, so I'm gonna cheat. So there's 2 things that I like to have for dessert.
Come on with
Okay,
more.
well, now
Come on with
you
choices.
a man after my own heart, okay?
So
'Cause,
one
yes.
is my wife. I love my wife dearly.
Sir, this
You know,
is
Wait.
not that kind of show.
Quiet storm.
I'm not talking about. No, I'm not talking about. Listen,
Dessert.
Preach.
I'm not talking
Preach.
about that. I'm talking about like just her love, her support.
Right.
For
like
dessert.
I was, yeah. Like every day you gotta eat dessert. So
Wow.
I was
okay.
in a very, very dark place in my life. Like contemplated suicide, all that stuff, and the love of she is literally what brought me out of that darkness. So my wife, Damaris Rosado James, love her to death.
Yes,
and
blessings.
the other thing that I would love for dessert that I eat every day is knowledge. I try to at least stop.
Love you.
No, I listen.
Right?
Yo, I was talking actual dessert. He went like beyond.
I love desserts.
yes.
No,
Let that
like
man
it's
talk.
knowledge because literally
right.
think about it. Bill Gates has the same 24 hours I do. Warren Buffett has the same 24 hours I do.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing with those 24 hours that makes them different from me?
Beyonce has
So
the same
it's
24
same
hours.
24 hours. We all born and we will all die. So knowing that those people have the same amount of stuff as I do, I'm going to use my time to enrich myself. They're not better than me. They're just different than me. So I try to at least read 2 or 3 chapters of a book on my bookshelf every single day. I'm reading right now. I'm reading The Rise of the Warrior Cop, Killing the Black Body, and something about Foucault and prisons. Like, it's all over the place. But every day I try to fill myself with knowledge, even if it's some stupid knowledge, like, ants don't sleep or something. Just something to learn something I did not know the day before.
What's your son?
Libra. My birthday's in 12 days. Fun fact, my sister's born
Happy
October
birthday.
13th, 87. I was born October 13th, 86.
All right.
So Dad waited literally 90 days before Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, bro.
Thank you.
Just what
Fellow
is
Happy
Libra.
solar return.
the final thought that you have, the one thing that you want to leave with the listening audience?
Listen, I know you always hear this is the most important election or XYZ, but the final thing I want to leave the audience, this is the most important election. We are at a pivotal point in this country. Right now, our country is beyond fractured on all these issues that we talked about tonight. So this is not the time to sit on the sidelines. This is not the time to be complacent. This is not the time to say, you know what, I'll vote in the next election. This now is the time for you to mobilize. I don't care who you vote for, but you got to get out and vote. People bled for this. They died for this. They fought for this. You would take care of a Ferrari. You would take damn good care of a Lamborghini. Your right to vote is more precious than any of those things. So take care of it and use it. That's it.
Whew. All right. Well,
Wait. All in favor of voting for him to come back? Raise your hand.
If y'all get a box fan, you know the one.
We'll bring a fan.
If y'all get a box fan, bruh, I'm a big dude. Listen, once it hit 50 degrees, I'm good. But besides that,
50.
Yeah, once it hit 50 degrees outside, I love it. That's my weather.
Activate your melanin.
That's
Talk
my
about
weather.
70.
No,
Nah,
I
no.
love fall.
50?
Yeah, I'm
Nah,
with
50,
you.
No,
50.
sir.
I'm with you.
50 degrees, 40
No,
degrees.
sir.
Well, you can,
50,
yeah, no,
55
no.
degrees.
Yes.
I'm going to ship
Yes.
your ass to England.
Yeah, no, 55.
Yes.
I got brothers and sisters. My family's Jamaican, so I got some in England.
Go on and visit them.
okay.
50
So,
degrees.
guys, last but not least, Isiah, running for Congress.com. Where can everybody find everything for you?
Just go to my website, IsiahForCongress.com. All the links for the social media are there, the blog, the Medium post, all that stuff there. And shoot me an email. I'll give you my phone number. We can chop it up.
All right, guys. Thank you for all you guys taking the time to listen to another episode of Highly Melanated. Hope you guys we have tried to melanate your palate as best as we can, but this brother came in here with everything.
Isiah has now just upped your melanation palette by 74.5 billion quadrillion melanated senses.
Hashtag facts.
Hashtag facts. As always, guys, you can follow us on social media. That would be Highly Melanated Podcast on Instagram, H_Melanated Pod on Twitter. You can email us any questions, comments, concerns. We will forward all this information for all of you who send us these emails directly to this brother. If you have further questions that you would like for him to ask for you, we got you. Email us at Highly Melanated, these fools right here in the background, Highly Melanated Podcast @gmail.com. And as always, you can go to our website, www.highlymelanatedpodcast.com. So again, guys, we'd like to really, really thank you for coming through, bro.
Thank you for having me, man.
What just happened?
I don't know.
The light just came on.
I don't know, but he's like one of those people on the train that, you know what I'm
He's
saying?
trying to take
Trying to take a picture you don't notice, and then the flash, and you're like, oh, yeah. Nobody holds their phone like this. Like, bro, I know what you're doing. I was like, I can look. I was like, oh, I know what you're doing.
On that note, love, peace, and
Vote.
go out and vote for
Isiah for Congress.
Come on now, let's get this brother in there.
All right, I'm out like a fat kid in dodgeball.
Yeah. What just happened?
I'm gonna take a.
Oh, we can curse?
I'm running.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Really quick.
Bro, listen.
I know. Let's see what I can do.
Yeah, they put the black people in the back of the studio too.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Question for you. You said your grandfather was in Korea.
Korea, yeah. Yes.
Do you know what he did?
He was an infantryman. All my grandfather, my father, my uncle, me, all of us infantry.
No, the reason why I asked is because my dad was in Korea.
Oh, you recorded it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on there. My dad was in Korea. He was
Okay.
a part of an all-black Ranger regiment. They were called the Rakkasans.
The Rockets. I was in that unit.
They were the first, the last, and the only all-black.
That was 101st Airborne.
They're actually called the 2nd Ranger Battalion, but they actually came from the 187th. That was that was integrated into the 101st.
I know. I was in 101st. That was my last unit.
Why? I gotta tell him that.